conscious living coach, and I love working with the millennials and helping guide millennials that are ambitious out of survival mode and into a more balanced lifestyle. And we are going to continue talking about overthinking because it's just such a big problem. I feel like so many of us are just overthinking every decision, every action, every past event. We're just always replaying and thinking about the experiences from our past. And that is keeping us stuck, y'all. It's keeping us stagnant. It's keeping us in one spot when we could be very well on our way um, to the lifestyle that we want to live. We could very well be on our way to the experiences that we want to have. So that's the reason why I have been hosting these lives about overthinking. And that's why I'm going to continue talking about overthinking, because I want y'all to stop being so afraid to decide, so afraid to make decisions, so afraid to stand on business. We talk about standing on business all the time. And a lot of times people don't think about standing on business when it comes to overthinking. But if you're overthinking something, you are not standing on business, because you be knowing what your answer is. You be knowing exactly how you feel. You be knowing exactly what you're thinking. You be knowing exactly what you want. And because you're overthinking that decision, you end up making a decision based on other people's opinions, other people's thoughts, other people's expectations and beliefs. And so we are going to work on getting rid of that. I don't want you to move like that anymore. I don't want you to move like that anymore. So thank y'all for joining me for another Balanced Millennial Monday, and let's get into it. All right, so we are focused today on when overthinking takes over, right? When overthinking takes over. Um, so we're gonna focus on the symptoms of when overthinking takes over. We're gonna focus on the symptoms, and please make sure you watch until the end, because I have a nice challenge I want to tell y'all about, and I want you to sign up for the challenge because hey Vaughn. Yeah, I want you to sign up for the challenge. So make sure you watch until the end, because I'm gonna drop some details about the challenge. And I'm not gonna keep y'all on here long. I say that all the time, but we're really gonna be off this thing by 9:20 or 9:30 because your girl's sleepy. Okay. All right. So what is overthinking, y'all? We talked about overthinking, right? Remember, we talked about the difference between thinking and a thought. Remember that a thought is the random idea you have, the random image, the random words that you see in your head, whereas thinking is when you engage with that thought. So when you're overthinking, you are engaging with that thought so much that you don't wear that thought out. That thought has your mind strained. That thought has your brain fogged. That thought has your stomach hurting. That thought has your back hurting. Okay? It comes with a lot of different symptoms, right? So when you are overthinking, there are going to be a lot of different symptoms that you're going to experience. And so we're going to focus on that today, because I want you, before you can even heal something, before you can make a transformation with something, before you can truly say that you want to remove something from your life and replace it with something better, you got to know what's going on first. You have to know what's going on. So we're going to talk about the different symptoms you would experience with overthinking. And so one of them that I am really, really big on, and that I love to talk about because a lot of people don't really think about it, is analysis paralysis. Say that 10 times fast. Analysis paralysis, right? You get into this cycle of analyzing things so long and so much that you still never get to an answer. You still never get to a solution. You still never get to a result because you're spending so much time analyzing it. We talked about it before, how you're spending all this time talking about the pros and cons, and you still don't decide nothing either way. Or you spend so much time talking about the pros and cons that you end up spending most of your time focused on the negative, and then you don't decide at all. You don't make a decision, or you make a decision that doesn't really align with what you want, simply because you have overanalyzed this thing. You've overanalyzed this. Or you're on the opposite end of the spectrum where you're not analyzing it at all. You keep putting it on the back burner. It keeps giving you anxiety. It keeps making you feel stressed out throughout the day because it's always on your mind. It's always in the back of your mind. But because you won't take the time to analyze it, because you won't take the time to think about what you actually need to be doing with that thought process, with that decision that you need to make, you're just putting it on the back burner. And then the days are going by. Let's say you have a paper due, right? The paper's due in 3 weeks. You know that paper due in 3 weeks. Instead of you like breaking that paper up into small sections, you just keep putting on the back burner. Now that paper is due in 2 days and you're overwhelmed and you're frustrated and you're annoyed because you still have to turn this paper in, and it's due in 2 days now. all because you were paralyzed. You were paralyzed by indecision. You were paralyzed by overthinking. You were paralyzed by this, okay? So another common symptom is going to be second guessing yourself. You know for a fact you're overthinking if you are constantly second guessing yourself. If you're constantly second guessing yourself, somebody who's firm in their decision making is not going to keep second guessing themselves. They're going to accept that whatever comes with that decision, it is what it is. It is what it is. Whether it's a good outcome or a negative outcome, they're going to accept that they made a decision and they can handle anything that comes with it. I feel like a lot of times the reason why people don't make a decision and why they get into that paralysis mode is because when they're second guessing themselves, they're so afraid of a negative outcome that you just don't make a decision at all. You're so scared of a negative outcome that you just don't make a decision at all. Like, think about all the things that you have not done in your life simply because you were scared of the outcome. Simply because you were scared of the outcome. You could have wanted to try a new habit. You could have wanted to try a new routine. You could have wanted to try a new hobby, right? You could have been like, oh, I want to learn how to skate. But you're so scared of falling in front of everybody that you won't even learn how to skate. You're so scared of falling in front of everybody. You're so scared of breaking a bone, hurting yourself, embarrassing yourself. You're so scared of these things that you won't even try to go skating. Maybe you wanted to try a new morning routine, right? Maybe you want to get up earlier in the morning, but you've already convinced yourself that getting up early in the morning is too hard. That's too hard. So you're second guessing this decision that you want to make, and you're already putting an emphasis on the negative things that could happen. You're already putting emphasis on those things. That's going to impact your ability to make firm decisions. That's going to impact your ability to be confident in your decision making. Because the more that you second guess yourself, the more that you are telling your gut not to trust yourself. You know what's best for you. You know what's best for you. Deep down, deep down, deep down, you know what's best for you. So when you're constantly second guessing yourself, all you're doing is telling yourself that you don't know what's best for you. You don't know what's best. That's why you always going to ask your mama, your auntie, your sister, your best friend, your daddy, your niece, whoever. That's why you always asking for advice. That's why you always on some Facebook group posted anonymously asking for advice, is because you don't trust that you know what's best for yourself. That's a huge sign of overthinking, is when you get to the point where you need someone else's voice in order to make a decision. Someone else has to co-sign for you in order for you to make a decision. That's not standing on business. All you're doing is teaching yourself that you can't make the best decisions for yourself. That's all you're doing, is teaching yourself that. So you have to get to a point where when you begin to second guess yourself, you need to put up a stop sign. You need just right then and there, put up a stop sign, say the word stop out loud, put a stop sign up right then and there when you start second guessing yourself, and then just go ahead and decide. Just go ahead and decide right then and there. Make a decision right then and there and stick with that. Even if you're saying, oh, I'm going to go to the gym two times this week, right? I have a goal. I have this fitness goal. I have this health goal. I want to look in the mirror and see a certain body. Like, tell yourself I'm going to go to the gym 2 times a week, but then that first time comes up, you start second guessing yourself. It's going to take so long for me to really work out and get that body done. I can really just, you start doing all these things and telling yourself all these things that aren't even true, but you make them true because you want them to fit a narrative that keeps you in comfort. And the more that you overthink, the more, and it doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel comfortable. A lot of times, like I said, because we're talking about these symptoms, it doesn't feel comfortable. But when you're used to overthinking, that place is comfortable for you. It's harder for you to not overthink. Not overthinking is way outside of your comfort zone. It's way outside of your comfort zone when you're not overthinking. And my goal at the end of the day is to get you to a point where you are more comfortable trusting your gut. You're more comfortable relying on yourself to make a decision. You're more comfortable knowing that you have your best interest in mind. Because the more you reach out to other people to get an answer about your life, the more you post in these Facebook groups asking for opinions, the more you calling your auntie, your uncle, whoever to ask for a second opinion, that's the less you trust yourself. Make a decision. Just decide and accept that whatever comes with that, you can handle it. Because a lot of this is fear about the reaction. Maybe you have to have a tough conversation with someone and you're avoiding it, right? You're avoiding this tough conversation. So instead of you just having this conversation with them, you keep putting it off on the back burner because you're afraid of what's going to come from this conversation. But the whole time, you can't stop thinking about it. You can't stop thinking about it. I want you to get used to the relief of facing your fears. Because when I tell you, it is such a relief to face a fear. It's such a relief to just say what you have to say and accept that you don't have control over how they respond. It is such a relief to just do what you want to do and understand that people are going to talk anyway. It doesn't matter. It's such a relief. And my goal when I'm working with my clients is to get them to that place where that relief feels better than holding it in. Because again, when you're used to overthinking, that's your comfort zone. That is your comfort zone. When you are used to overthinking, that's your comfort zone. That's the place where you feel best about yourself. I want you to get out of that place. Because when you're in that place where overthinking is your comfort zone, you're stressed out all the time. You're frustrated all the time. You're easily overwhelmed. You're constantly overstimulated. You're not deciding anything. A lot of times you're letting the universe and you're letting people around you make decisions for you. That is the worst thing you can do when there are so many things that are in your control. There are so many things that aren't, but there are so many things that are. There are so many things that are in your control. You keep avoiding these conversations. You keep avoiding making these decisions. And next thing you know, you can't sleep at night. So even though you keep avoiding these things and putting on a back burner in your mind, they come right on up when it's time to go to sleep. When it's time to go to sleep, you are up and thinking about the shit. So it's like, decide. Like if you don't get anything else from me today, I want you to just know that you can decide. You can make a decision. You can go one way or the other. You can get off the fence and stop straddling the fence and pick a side. You can do that. You can do that. And you have the strength. You have the resilience. You have the willpower to be able to handle whatever comes from that. You have it because a lot of times you're scared. You're just scared. You're scared about how it's going to impact your relationship. You need to be more scared about how the fact that you're not saying something is going to impact your health. You can't sleep. That's going to impact your health. You're not eating well. That's going to impact your health. Your throat chakra is blocked as hell. That's going to impact your health. So you have to start deciding if your fear of facing these things, your fear of making a decision is more important than your health, because that's what it is at the end of the day. This is a wellness brand. I'm building a wellness brand because your health is what's important at the end of the day. I think I saw a post about Joe Biden was like on the beach with his wife or something like that. And man looked like he ain't never been sick before. Man looked like he ain't never been sick. And the post was basically saying, like, look what happens when you leave a toxic job. Because, yeah, you have to start deciding what's more important, your health or the things that you're scared to make a decision about. You have to decide. All right, so real quick, because I told y'all I was serious today. I'm not keeping y'all on long today. So real quick, a few techniques to help you combat overthinking. You need to start practicing mindfulness every single day. I have an app on my phone that like reminds me to do like whatever my daily habits are. And so one of my daily habits is to meditate every single day, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, minimum of 5, but meditate every single day. Because when I tell you, when you sit in that quiet place, play a frequency or do a guided meditation, whichever one's more comfortable for you. But when you sit in that space with your thoughts, what ends up happening is that you gain the realizations that you keep suppressing. Because a lot of times y'all know what you want. You know what decision you want to make, but you have suppressed that choice. You feel like that choice is so out of your reach that you're not willing to go there. It's not. It's not out of your reach. You just have to be willing to allow it to come up from that root, from that sacral. You got to let it come up from that solar plexus. You have to let it come up, okay? Because y'all are pushing it. You're pushing it all the way down. You're pushing it all the way down. You have to be able to let it come up. Because once it comes up and you allow it to come up and you allow yourself to feel it, it becomes much easier to just make a decision. It becomes much easier to make a decision. Because again, when you are avoiding making a decision and when you're overthinking about a decision, a lot of that has to do with you suppressing what you actually want. And so you're just choosing what you feel like is only what's available. So you've suppressed what you want to choose what you feel like is readily available. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. When you are working through overthinking, taking that time every single day for mindfulness, just sit for 5 minutes, y'all. Play a frequency. Find a frequency that relates to what you're going through. I'm telling y'all, you can go on YouTube and type frequency overthinking. And there will be all kind of frequencies coming up that will help you with your overthinking. So that way you can sit there for 5 minutes and allow that frequency, because frequencies is literally energy, y'all. So we talking energy. So you can sit there and let that frequency all over your body, and you'll feel that whatever you suppress coming out. And then allow that to come out and allow yourself to make a decision. Allow yourself to make a decision. You also need to simplify your decision making, okay? You need to simplify your decision making, because a lot of times when it's hard for you to make a decision, it's because you try to go A, F, N, Q, back to C, R, P. No, you need to simplify your decision making. Again, we talk about pros and cons. Make a pros and cons list. That's the way to simplify decision making. Compare and contrast, y'all. Let's go back to kindergarten with it, okay? Compare and contrast, okay? Compare this decision to this decision. Compare and contrast. What's, if you decide this way, or if you decide A or B, what's the same, what could be the same, and what's different between those two decisions? Like, simplify your decision making, because a lot of times y'all are trying to factor in factors that don't matter. And when you're trying to factor in factors that don't actually matter in your decision making, you're gonna overthink it. You're gonna overthink it. Even me running a business, right? So one of the things that I'm learning how to do is the difference between money generating activities and just passive activities, just things that need to get done in my business, but they're not money generating activities. So even for me, I have to simplify that process between the two. So that way I am like, okay, today I'm focused on these money generating activities. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to focus on these passive activities that just need to get done in my business, kind of thing. And that has helped me so much. That has helped like ease the anxiety that I have about getting the work done in my business, because it's like, okay, this is what needs to be done in order for me to bring in the money that I want to bring in my business based on the impact that I'm creating. Now, when you don't know nothing about that, you end up spending your time doing a bunch of shit that don't matter. And then when it doesn't work out, you start wondering why it doesn't work out. And it's because you're doing a bunch of things that don't matter. Same process. You have to simplify your decision making, okay? Simplify your decision making. Now, if you need help simplifying your decision making, then I have the perfect solution for you. So, introducing the 3-day live challenge from doubt to decision will happen on September 22nd through September 24th. This is a live challenge. It's going to begin at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for 3 days straight, y'all. So, this challenge is for you if you are constantly overthinking your decisions, if you are always doubting yourself and you don't trust your intuition and you're not able to simplify your decision making, then this challenge is for you. You can sign up by going to bit.ly/from doubt to decision. And I'm also going to drop the link in the comments really quick. I'm going to drop the link in the comments because I want y'all to sign up. I think it'll be very beneficial for anyone who is really like, I'm crippled by overthinking. Like, I miss opportunities because I'm overthinking. I miss out on creating and building connections because I'm overthinking. There are so many experiences that I haven't had in my lifetime because I'm overthinking. I think a really good example of that is I had a client who wanted to travel, but she was always like fearful of like what would happen while she's traveling. Y'all, things can happen anywhere you are. Okay. Of course, be mindful. Of course, be conscious. Of course, pay attention to your surroundings, but things can happen anywhere you are. So you have to start working on those fears, and you have to start facing the fact that you're never going to know if you don't do it. You're never going to know if you don't do it. You're never going to know. So I'm going to drop the link. I'm going to drop the link in the comments. And definitely join, sign up. The challenge begins again on September 22nd. So definitely join and sign up if you feel like this would be something for you. And again, the challenge is called From Doubt to Decision. It's a 3-day challenge. And the entire goal is to make sure that by the end of 3 days, you have made a decision about something that you have been overthinking, have the skill set to make a decision about something that you've been overthinking for a very long time. So I want you to use the link, and I'm gonna drop it on TikTok too. Y'all give me 1 second. Make sure you use the link to join the challenge. I think it'll be an amazing challenge for anyone that is just overthinking. You're tired of doing it. Oh, I didn't know I can't drop a. Can I drop a comment on TikTok? I don't know how to. I've never done that. Oh, okay. I found it. Yeah, I found it. And again, it is bit.ly/from doubt to decision. I'm still going to drop it though, because I want y'all to just be able to copy and paste or click the link if it allows you to click the link. I know sometimes they don't allow you to click the link. You have to copy and paste. All right. So I dropped it on TikTok, dropped it on Facebook. So yeah, again, thank y'all for joining me. If you find yourself overthinking, I would love for you to join my challenge. The challenge begins on September 22nd and is from September 22nd through September 24th. And we are focused on taking you from doubt to decision in just 3 days. So thank y'all so much for joining me. If you need the link at any time because you missed maybe there's not the comment didn't share somewhere, if you need the link, DM me. I got you. I can send you the link. I'm also going to be sharing more about it as the time goes by. So thank y'all so much for joining me. I did good today. We are done at 9:24. Proud of myself. And I will see y'all next week as we continue the conversation.